Fort Worth. A Richland Hills man who kept telling his 73-year-old roommate he was tired of being tormented used a butcher knife and bread knife when he stabbed and beat her to death, according to a warrant. Stephen Tufts also killed Paula Kennemer's dog, leaving the canine dead on a patio and covered with a dog bed, the arrest warrant says. But a larger black dog found in Tufts' bedroom was alive, according to the warrant obtained by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Tufts, 27, was arrested Sunday morning at Medical City Green Oaks Hospital in Dallas. A last text to Kennemer from Tufts' mother said, "Paula, he's at the house, and my boyfriend is taking him to the crisis center at Green Oaks where his doctor is on staff," according to the warrant. He was in the Tarrant County Jail on Tuesday in lieu of $165,000 bail. He faces charges of murder and animal cruelty. The warrant gave this account of the killing. A neighbor received a telephone call from Kennemer on Friday night, saying Tufts was acting weird and coming in and out of his bedroom slamming doors. He would lie on the living room floor and kept saying he was tired of being tormented. At some point, Tufts went back into his bedroom, broke a window, climbed outside, and left on foot. Kennemer yelled at Tufts, but he ignored her. She then locked the doors and windows. The neighbor offered to come over to Kennemer's home, but she declined. Tufts returned to the Richland Hills home and climbed through the broken window in the 2800 block of Matthews Drive. Tufts asked Kennemer why she had locked him out, and she asked him why he had broken the window. The neighbor told Kennemer she wanted to call the police, but Kennemer declined, saying she was letting Tufts calm down. The neighbor hung up the telephone. She called Kennemer again at 10:37 p.m. Friday, but Kennemer did not answer. On Saturday, the neighbor called 5 times, but Kennemer never answered. Shortly before 9 p.m. on Saturday, 3 Richland Hills police officers were dispatched to a welfare check. Another neighbor had called police after going to the home and finding Kennemer's dog dead. When they arrived, Richland Hills police found the dog dead on the patio, noticing the canine had pooled blood around the mouth and showed obvious signs of trauma, according to the warrant. Officers were advised Tufts lived there, but his truck was missing. Richland Hills police entered the home and found Kennemer's body in her bedroom. She appeared to have suffered injuries to her head. 2 knives, a butcher and bread knife, were located near her body with blood on them. The bread knife was bent. After obtaining a search warrant, investigators walked into Tufts' bedroom, where they found a tennis shoe with blood splattering and cast-off blood on a t-shirt. Next has to be Dahmer, strictly because of how close I found myself to his family. Now that I have your attention, my best friend in high school had a nice older brother. We live in Ontario, Canada. He is about 3 years older than us. He dated a girl in high school, and I remember her. She seemed nice but off. They dated for all of high school, and then he ended it when he left for college. He ended up having to come back from his first semester in college because he was told by his mom that the ex was not doing well and had been committed soon after they broke up. She had cut herself a lot, cut his name, had books full of his name, and was nearly catatonic in hospital. The older brother is a caring person, so he visited her. When he gave her name, they had trouble finding her in the records. It was then that he was taken aside by the intake nurse, who explained that the reason they couldn't find her was because she had gone by her first and middle name and omitted her last name, that her name is actually Dahmer, and she is Jeffrey Dahmer's niece. When he told me about this, he remembered the last name showing up on their home caller ID as Dahmer, but he never made the connection and figured the name he knew her by was her mother's maiden name. Dahmer's parents forgave him and stayed in their hometown. His brother, on the other hand, was disgusted and moved illegally to Canada with just his only daughter. Apparently, when you live illegally in Canada, it is ill-advised to try to have your last name changed. The home phone was associated to his credit score and therefore was listed as Dahmer. The brother said goodbye to her and moved away to college finally. Next, former RRN here. Long time ago, galaxy far away thing. Not a famous case, but my very first baby code resuscitation was a murder victim. I had to give a deposition and everything. It happens really fast, and I won't give you the blow-by-blow, but they put the 10-month-old on the gurney and I'm in charge of IV access, so I stripped the ONC off of him, getting cold, pasty, gray baby poop up my arm. This is the part of my testimony that was important. You're not dead till you're warm and dead. That baby was ice cold and dead. Dad had strangled the baby 3 or 4 hours before bringing him in after a fight with Mom, and had changed his mind. I had no clue. The doctor said rigor mortis a couple times, and that didn't register as we busted our asses trying to bring that baby back for like a half hour. I was sweating balls trying to get an IV, and since I couldn't, I put 2 intraosseous lines in, 1 in each shin. Those are pretty brutal. Dad just sat there staring. He was like a zombie. No emotion, no reactions, not looking at anything or anyone really as we worked on his son, which wasn't suspicious at all. People react differently to death and tragedy. He seemed to be the normal level of so overwhelmed with what is going on that he's completely shut down. Of course, we suspected the baby had been dead for a little while. This didn't just happen. His reaction didn't make anyone think this was a murder we were dealing with, however. But he was sitting right there the whole time we worked on him, after having killed that baby. This is the part that makes this story fit this thread, and that I would define as disturbing. He murdered his child. And he was sitting right there. Mom, on the other hand, was hysterical, screaming, ripping her hair out. I don't hear her screams, but when you tell parents their child has died, they make unintelligible sounds that are more wails than screams that I still hear sometimes. This sound was more angry at the same time as anguished. The guttural, anguished ones stay with me. But hers don't. But what I understand now is she knew. She knew her husband had killed their baby. And she was grieving but wanted to get her hands on him. She wanted to tear him apart. Her family members wouldn't let her in the room with us. Yeah, it was fucked up. They fought before bed. He killed their baby and then went to sleep. Woke up a couple hours later, woke her up, admitted to her what he had done, and then they brought the baby in. It was a military base, and he was military, so pretty sure he got life. Couldn't happen to a more deserving guy.